Hello, everyone. Thank you for 800 subscribers. At this point, we're approaching 900. I'm Janelle, and on this channel, I help solo travelers explore the world with confidence by sharing honest guides, travel tips, and real experiences. I want to read a few of your comments from my last video. Meldon Travel, this is on time for me. I'm cruising more, and being retired, I sometimes find it hard to find a travel partner. Plus, I like the freedom of traveling solo sometimes. Thank you for that comment. I've been on one solo cruise. It was when COVID lockdown was ending. They were trying to get people back on the ships. $350 for 8 days, 7-night balcony. I'm due for another solo. I love being with me so much. Shout out to Kimberly. And I do have to be honest, y'all. I went back and checked my records. The final price for the cruise came to $352. I'm going to put a snapshot of it here. I forgot to mention that I purchased the MSC Global Protection, and that was an additional $47. $307 was the initial if I had not done the travel insurance, right? The total was $352. Am I about to update the thumbnail? No, because I still want people to click on it. We're getting traction. And lastly, Blacks It Forward. Did you get caught up in the embarkation day nightmare in Port Canaveral? Blacks It? I sure did. That's what I'm talking about today. Some other notes that I wanted to tell you was that on November 23rd, that is when I actually purchased the last minute cruise. A few days later, MSC, they're going to keep you updated, okay? They kept emailing me. I needed to make some changes for my dietary restrictions. I'm vegetarian. I needed to complete a special needs form. Also, on one of the booking confirmations, I saw that they had placed me at the late dining, because remember, this was last minute. I was like, I'm not eating nobody's dinner at 9:30. So I needed to call the customer service and have them move me up to 7:30. I was trying to get the first dinner. After dinner, I wanted to go to the shows, but this is last minute. They sent me an updated confirmation with that. They also sent an updated confirmation because remember, I told you they had upgraded me to the balcony. Shout out to MSC. So they emailed me with the cruise cabin change, the passenger data update, the travel requirements. They told me it was time for me to check in. I also signed up. I wanted to join MSC Voyager, the club. They also told me that I need to, once you check in, you can get your digital boarding pass or you can use the paper one. They told me that my check-in window to embark was 11:30. Keep that in mind. I mean, I really appreciate them with the emails. They literally tell you everything that you need to do. I am curious as to why there's so many questions in the cruise travel groups. I guess it's from people who have not sailed with them yet. Because I mean, why y'all asking all these questions? Asking all them questions, making statements, assuming. They even tell you what to pack. Like, y'all, you're going to be fine. Of course, I had to get my flight. This is last minute. I'm about to be sailing in a few days, right? I also arranged my transport. Cape Canaveral is not, it's not close to MCO. All right. Once you fly into Orlando Airport, some people, they stay in Orlando, they will rent a car, then they drive to the port. Others will arrange for a shuttle. There are multiple shuttles that you can use that are, I think, reasonably priced. The one that I used to get to the ship was Airport Canaveral. The total cost was $30. On the way back from the ship after, disembarkation, I used cruise control. Their price was $26. Okay. Uber, Lyft, taxi is going to be crazy cost. I don't advise that. Also, MSC does offer shuttles too. Even on the last day, they were telling me when I got off the boat that if I had wanted to go with them, once everybody gets off, they had buses that were available for $25. So that's an option as well. You do not want to be stuck at Port Canaveral when the ship is over, but let's get back. The first tip that I'm going to give you guys for embarkation is that you want to arrive the day before sailing. This is what I did. I ended up flying to MCO. It was a Saturday sailing. I got there Friday afternoon. I'm not sure if MCO offers luggage storage. I had a suitcase and some other stuff. You see that I'm wearing this. This is from Kenya. I like to put bags underneath it so I don't get charged extra with the budget airlines. That is neither here nor there. So anyways, I had that on and I took my luggage. I went out of the airport. I left, took the Lynx bus to the city because I wanted to eat some Indian food. It's my favorite thing. And I'm like, I'm doing everything that I like. This is my birthday month. And I spent the night there. I was not at the Hyatt. You know, they have the airport hotel there. It's very expensive. I was just sitting on the benches, walking around, shooting some content because I really love MCO Airport. Future video to come. I slept on and off. I drank a lot of water, went to Starbucks. I questioned my life decisions, and I spent some time in the sensory room. I did some yoga. Stranger Things had just dropped. I'm like, let me watch some of that. And I really just wanted to get my mind right because this is where the shuttle was going to pick me up because I had to go to Port Canaveral. Let me just go check out where I'm supposed to be departing from. I'll show you the picture of it here. I can't remember the specific number, but it's in between the taxis and the Lynx buses. That is where Airport Canaveral is going to pick you up. Thankfully, I was preparing my mind for what was going to be the longest day, it seemed, of my life. The morning of, I have a lot of favorite quiet spots at MCO, but this is definitely one of them. I love the plush, comfortable couches in the lobby, and they don't really bother you. It's a much nicer bathroom than downstairs, you know, the airport bathrooms and the terminals or whatever. Even in the land side, before you get to the terminals, I wanted to eat breakfast because I just was not sure what was about to happen. Another mistake was that I booked my shuttle pickup for 9 a.m., even though MSC gave me an 11:30 boarding. That was a mistake. You're going to see why. So I went to the Hyatt and I had breakfast there. It was all right. At least I had something in my stomach. I said goodbye to the airport because, you know, it gets very cold in there. And I just needed to be in some sun. I was tired of being cold in December. I need to get some vitamin C. Is that what you get from the sun? Wait, let me Google it. I need to get some vitamin D. I was on time to get to Airport Canaveral, and I started talking to the other passengers and realized I'm the only one getting on MSC. What is up with this? I'm not sure what to expect. But then when we pull up, it takes about 45 minutes to get to Cape Canaveral. Then I see the boat and I'm like, whoa, this boat is huge. There are other cruise lines there, of course, and you really just have to wait until they drop you off to your cruise boat. Mine was the first drop off, period. Thank you. I also noticed long lines, and I said, I know these are not the people departing the ship. I got there around 10 and I'm like, people are still on the boat? Usually on disembarkation day, the ship should arrive to the port about 5 a.m., 6 a.m. This was a sign that something was going down. This boat, it was coming from Europe. This is the first U.S. sailing. I get off and then I'm like, man, I'm too early for my 11:30 boarding. The cruise lines, they stagger entry times. I see people who are in MSC Yacht Club in line. I see a lot of older people. You know, they have the scooters, the wheelchairs. I'm like, what is going on? I see people holding soda cans and drinks. I had on a Santa hat because I'm like, Christmas time is here. I am here to show y'all cheer. Nobody knows I'm a YouTuber. But I was spreading a little love on Christmas Day because I feel like people were smiling. I sometimes forgot that I had it on because I didn't want to wear the wig until I actually got on the boat. Thank goodness I didn't. And people were just like, oh, I like your outfit. I like your hat. Da, 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 da. People are just chit-chatting. They're happy. Some are complaining about the heat. At that time in Orlando at the port, it was very hot. Y'all, I was in line for a total of about, I'm going to say 3.5 hours. Let's just round it up to 4. 4 hours in line to get on a boat is outrageous. The words that come to mind are chaos and confusion. There were people in line. Of course, they were complaining, you know, the Karens, how they're going to be, I will never sail with MSC again. Yet they were the ones that still walked on the boat. It's like, y'all be doing too much. There's other people who are just like, MSC, this is not normal for them. I don't know. It's not looking good. I kept telling myself in line, waiting all that time, $300, Janelle. This was only $300. You're on here for 8 days, 7 nights. Chill, chill, chill. So I was very quiet in line and I just observed. I started to be overwhelmed and just in shock because I'm like, why are we in line, you know what I'm saying, for this long? It doesn't make any sense to me. Sometimes there can be technical glitches, as I was told the CBP, Customs Border Protection Patrol, whatever it is, there were some issues. There was a security and customs delay, and there were large crowds due to terminal congestion. I heard the Wi-Fi was down. Some people were saying they had to switch the currency from euros to dollars. The ship must zero out. That means they have to clear the onboard immigration system before we get on. It was crazy, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. The passengers, they have to disembark. And remember, if the ship isn't cleared, boarding cannot begin. So I know the MSC yacht crowd was hot because they're supposed to have priority boarding. Y'all, we all were outside and it was an older crowd. I heard some people passed out in the sun. I know I stood outside in line for about 2 hours. Then they were able to open the doors. We went up stairs and then we waited in line again. About 2 hours in, they would bring some little cups of drinks. I was like, I don't want no drink. I want to get on this boat. Like, I was starting to be visibly irritated, even though I had on my Santa hat. I'm up here looking like the Grinch. Other people, they are taking their frustrations and they are cussing. They are loudly complaining. The vibes were quickly coming down. That window from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., that's when it's going to be the most crowded I've heard at most cruise ports. And really, what is there that you can do? What I probably should have done was waited maybe a couple hours later and maybe just popped up at 2 or 3 to get on. I didn't know, y'all. That was my mistake. My notes here, folks were stressed the F out. Okay, Americans don't like waiting. This is a European-based cruise line, so they are kind of seeing how we are operating. We don't like this. We don't like being in line long. Y'all better work this out. And I saw that they were stressed. We were stressed. When you start seeing the heads of the ship come out, we saw them behind. It was like the glass enclosure, you know, where you're supposed to, the walkway to board. I see somebody talking to customs, someone else. They all had on the white shirts. I was like, is the captain out there? I just want to see who he is. It was chaotic, man. I'm laughing now, but in line, I was like, you practice with Adrian every day. Do the breath work. Do the breath work. I'm so glad I ate. I mean, there were people in line who were just munching on snacks. They had just maybe flown in. Maybe they woke up early and were staying at a hotel or something. I don't know if everybody had eaten the morning of. I was straight. I'm just like, I've been standing for a while. I had my luggage with me. What are y'all doing? Again, for the people that are saying this is not normal with MSC, okay, that's good for you. But today, this is my first impression. And I will say this was one of the worst days. I could say the worst day. It got better as time progressed. Tips for you, you're going to need to pack your patience when it comes to embarkation day. Am I going to be on a cruise again where I am the first to be on a U.S. sailing? I doubt it. Am I going to cruise again from Port Canaveral? Probably not. Like, I did not like that, y'all. Port Canaveral, it is a biometric port. I don't know if you were aware of this. They have cameras that are going to compare your face when you get to the check-in counter, what's in real time with what is on your passport, you know, your passport photo. For those who don't have the passport, I'm not really sure how they do that. That might take some additional time as well. I believe that there were some people on the boat who just had a birth certificate. 1:30 p.m., I finally was able to get to the check-in desk. You know, they did the biometrics, everything was good, and she gave me all these instructions. I went to board. We stood in line for another 30 minutes, and I had just had enough. My legs were tired. I wanted to sit down. The good thing was all of my luggage was with me. I did not want to just leave it with the people and then they bring it to your door hours later. I was like, nah, I'm good. I've been in line forever. I'm getting to this room. Sometimes the rooms are not ready, which is why they will say, leave your luggage, and then they will bring it to you hours later. I was looking at the ship and I was immediately blown away. I mean, it was elegant. It was classy. You can tell that they invested a lot of money into their boats. It was spectacular. I saw the stairs with the Swarovski crystals and I said, photo shoot, pose. It looked really Grandiosa. I know, y'all, that's lame. I kind of was in a daze. I was very confused. Remember, I hadn't slept the night before, so I'm like stumbling around. I said, let me just get myself to the room. I got up there, and then I found that I had to walk. And I'm talking about, I'm walking all the way to the aft. You know, that's the back. I was on the 12th floor. You will get the room number when I do my balcony tour. And I was towards the back left. That is where the deluxe balconies were. I did not have Aria. That's a different type. I had Bella Interior. They upgraded me to the deluxe balcony. I just had cruise only. But they gave me $70 onboard credit. Again, none of this made any sense, y'all. For the inconvenience, the captain, the next day, we found a letter under our door. He gave us an additional $25 onboard credit. So, y'all, I had almost $100 to spend on the boat on their dime. Sometimes things just work out. Okay. Y'all, I went to my room. My room was ready. I actually met my stateroom attendant. He was cool. I was saying hello to him. And then I just went in the room and I just sat down. I wanted to film everything for you guys, but I was just so tapped out. I'm like, nah. I started to unpack a little bit and I was like, I know I'm supposed to do the muster station. I have the app downloaded. I was able to connect to the ship Wi-Fi. I love that MSC app, y'all. It has everything that you need on there. And then I said, you know what, Janelle? You need to set intentions for this cruise. What are you here for? Okay, you are supposed to be thinking about your journey as a YouTuber, growing the channel. If anything is stressing you, you need to remind yourself of this, right? So I'm like, no, I'm not going to stress myself out. I wanted rest, reflections, and I was able to do that with yoga. I took a shower. I was just looking at everything. It matched the pictures. And I said, well, let me just turn on the TV. So I watched the muster video. I was supposed to go to the muster station. I had muster in or letter in, but I was like, nah, I'm good, fam. I'll do that later. I'm gonna do things in my order. You can do the muster on your phone, on the TV. This is mandatory. I've heard that some cruises, they cannot depart until everyone has done this, but the day had been so chaotic. People were frustrated. Some people's rooms weren't ready. I mean, a lot of things were going on. I saw a long line at the guest relations desk. People were unhappy. The Wi-Fi was down on the ship. So remember, I told you I had onboard credit, but I didn't know how to activate my card because the kiosks were down. So it was just a lot of frustration, a lot of confusion, but I was on the boat. On MSC, they say you can go to the cruise and travel show. They have the pools. There's lots of activities for the first day sailing. And then there's a sail away party. What you want to do, you want to go to the theater, the main theater. That's where they're going to have the cruise travel show. You want to go there for giveaways. They had a giveaway at the spa. I saw some people win. Good for them. I didn't win anything, but in my mind, I already won. All right, I got this last minute cruise for $350 and I have a $95 onboard credit. What else do I need? Like, I am smooth sailing. I went to the sail away party for a little bit. It wasn't jumping and my battery was drained. I ended up going to the buffet. It was too crowded. I was like, no, I'm good. I think I ate later. Everything is a blur to me, y'all. What I should have done was gone to the main restaurant and eaten there because I heard that there wasn't as many people, but the buffet was crazy packed. I do remember I ate a little something. I'll show a picture of you here. It was like, okay. I was supposed to meet one of the head waiters because remember I told you I filled out the special needs form and he was supposed to go over everything with me, but none of that happened. By the end of that day, I went to sleep and I was like, let me just pray and hope for better things to come. I woke up at about 4 a.m. and then I started to explore the ship. This is when everybody was asleep and I was able to film and shoot some content. Again, gorgeous ship, beautiful ship. It was very clean. MSC is privately owned. I forgot to mention that in my previous video. I'm trying to remember if we departed on time. We were supposed to leave at 5 p.m. It was a very long day, but I do remember that we were successfully sailing. I looked out my balcony. It was pitch black dark. I knocked out. I crashed out and boom, we were in Nassau the next morning. I'm trying to say as much as I can before this light turns out. For you to prevent a 4-hour wait in the future, I would try to adhere to your arrival times. I did that to avoid the peak congestion. Well, no, I didn't. I came early. Morning slots are the busiest. Try to arrive the day before. If you want, stay in a local hotel. If you want to save money, stay at the airport. It's up to you. Complete the online check-in. Ensure that all your documents, your photos, your payment information are uploaded and verified on the cruise line's app before embarkation. And of course, you always want to purchase travel insurance. MSC's Global Protection is there in case of an emergency. Other options, instead of waiting in a long line, you could wait in your vehicle if you drove to the port, and you could wait for the ship to give you the official updates on when a better time to board would be. You could check out the nearby restaurants and attractions. There is a cove area near the port. There's waterfront restaurants where you could eat breakfast or lunch. There's also the Exploration Tower, and I've heard of Jetty Park. If you arrive by plane, you could just chill longer at MCO. which I did not do, or just go to a hotel and try to use day rates, like day use or something. You could do resort pass. It's going to give you a more comfortable environment. I'm thinking of the older crowd. You're going to have reliable Wi-Fi, and there's going to be seating. These are my first impressions. These are my embarkation tips. Did I forget anything? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to see y'all soon.